Hello everybody, welcome back to another episode of Explorations. My name is Ian, and today I am going to be talking about wildlife deterrents, the different types, and when to use them, and scenarios. So let's get right into it. Wildlife deterrents. Why do we need wildlife deterrents? Pretty obvious, is to deter wildlife. In this episode, I'm going to be talking about black bears generally, moose, white-tailed deer, raccoons, whatever. They'll run away from you. Black bears generally will as well. And if you do everything that you can, wave your arms, scream, bang, shout, whatever, they're still in your way. This is where wildlife deterrent comes in to be a very useful thing to have in the backcountry. Grizzly bears, same thing, a little bit different. And so on this, I will not get into animal behavior. I am not an expert at this any way, shape, or form. I will share my experiences with you and what the outcome is with what I have. The first and foremost is the most popular one here. You'll notice it's a bear spray. This canister is a little bit banged up because I've taken it in and out of my pack several times. Very easy to use. So just pull this back, depress the nozzle, and voila, there you go. This sprays a couple of meters. I think it was like 3 meters out or something to that effect. I actually don't quite remember. Rob, please post how far this is effective for. And there is always an expiry date, and it's written at the bottom. This is actually October 2022. It is now 2024, so I should probably just use this in my food like pepper. No, don't do that. And so if a bear's charging at you, you're probably going to be panicking. Getting it out of this is going to be pretty difficult, so find something suitable for what you are likely to be able to use. Some people have them in like a holder and then put it on to like a holster, and you could just pull it out and depress it, and voila, there you go. These are generally reserved for outdoors, aka not in a tent, and also downwind from you, because if wind blows back into your face, different story. You'll get sprayed. It won't be pleasant and it would suck. So excuse the smoke, everyone. I'm doing this in front of a campfire. So that's their bear spray. The next thing, generally, just my whistle. This is a Fox 40 whistle. You blast it. Not only is it good for deterring wildlife immediately in front of you, it's easy to carry, it's on you. It's also a signaling device should anyone else hear you blast it. If you're in the backcountry, generally it means there's something up. It will give warning to other campers nearby. And just for the simple fact, if something happens, you need an audio signaling device, you got it. This is a pretty loud whistle. I think it's 120 decibels or something like that. Even at camp, having it on you, because wildlife can wander into camp, and if you don't have your bear spray on you, at least you have some sort of defense, better than none. The next one is a air horn. It's quite simple. This whole thing is one piece. You depress that button, aim it toward the threat, to the bear or whatever wildlife, and it makes 120 decibels as well, I believe. What I like about this is you can easily pack it into your pack. If you're carrying it around, you could take it apart so that you don't depress the horn by accident. What I use this for is not for the trail. I use this just in case there's something out around my tent at night. So when I'm sleeping, I would have my whistle on me, and also this, should it come way too close to the tent. This is my last line of defense, because you do not want to release this guy inside your tent. I use this on the trail, and then I use this in the tent. One last thing, for the collection of different devices for wildlife deterrence, you have what's a pen flare, right? So you have this, and then you have a cartridge that goes with it. Now this one is true flare, and I've only ever shot this twice, I believe. And with the package comes with a banger and a flare. These make this same decibel rating as a shotgun, so be wary of that. How we use this is a quick rundown. It is not a detailed demonstration. Effectively, you remove this. There's a primer here. Screw it in, arm it up, ready to go. Once you screw it in, you depress this button, release. There's a pin in there, firing pin, that'll hit the primer, and then little boom, big boom. So this thing you're gonna have to carry around already with the piece in, because I feel like taking this off, putting it on while you're under immense stress from a wildlife coming at you, it's just not going to be a feasible thing. There we go. So this one goes all the way in. So you're gonna have to carry it like this. Now, what the instructions had said, you see this little notch here? It says to put this into the safety. I don't know how safe it is. And I am frankly terrified of having this together in my pocket or something, in case I pull out something else in a pocket and it comes off the safety, depresses, and fires while in my pocket. Like, I have decided to not use this a while ago, and only use it for signaling flares if I ever need it. So I've only fired it once for the sake of firing it. It's loud. It's loud. The one thing this is not meant to do is fire it at wildlife. Never fire it at wildlife. The other thing about this is how and where you fire it. Now, the direction says you fire it straight up above your head, right? Now, when you bring it up above your head, you have a potential to be doing this or this. Now, the wildlife is here, and you angle it this way, it shoots over this way behind that threat, and it explodes behind the threat. That animal is likely going to be charging at you. Now, your hand positioning is going to be very key of where you get that to fire off. If the threat is here, you aim this way, it fires off, sure, that's fine, because it's behind you, scares the animal, whatever. The other thing I have heard and read is that people have fired it onto the ground, which you should not do. Again, don't fire it on the ground, always into the air. Yeah, so these are the major pieces for wildlife deterrence. My preference are the whistle that I carry on me. I'm not going to pull it out the mic. For when I'm on the trail, when I'm around camp, it's going to be the kind of first line of defense. If I am in the tent sleeping, I have the air horn because I cannot fire off the bear spray while in the tent. My God, that smoke is getting bad. Whew. I thought it would be nice scenery to do it in front of the campfire, having some wafts, but this is a bit much. Okay, there we go. Thank you, wind. And then the last one, again, you have the bear spray. I would only use this on the trail, only downwind, so it's very specific instances. be a little bit more difficult to have an accurate use, but if the animal is really threatening and it is really charging, this is going to be really the only thing that's going to sting and attack per se the wildlife. So still have it on you, but have other forms of deterrent as well. Okay, so my experience with black bear in southern Ontario, camping, hiking, and paddling in, the one experience I've had was my food cache was hanging up, and it wasn't super well done. So I had a cooler with food, put it in a tarp, threw it around a tree, hauled it up, and it's like nearly 2 meters off the ground. And the bear can stand on its hind legs and just like gnaw at it. I was in the tent, middle of the day. Always keep your campsite clean, even if you're at camp, because animals will come, and this is a case in point. And I was even on an island, so even more case in point. I was in the tent and I heard this like tarp just crunching away. I thought it was the wind at first. I'm like, no, it's too persistent. I looked outside and I see this black bear on its hind legs just like gnawing at the bottom of the tarp. So that was a deterrent enough to keep the food cache off the ground. But I had the whistle on me, and I came out of the tent with a paddle and the whistle, blowing the whistle, and like with the paddle, not that if the bear charged I could do much with the paddle, I'd be pretty screwed, but it was just to make myself look bigger. But by the time I came out anyways, the bear ran away. So whistle, first line of defense, that was a key thing. Another experience I had was hiking in. Frankly, the bear just ran away. I didn't even have a chance to blow out my whistle. I blew it anyways, just to make sure. I went down the trail to ensure that it knew we weren't afraid. It just kind of went after the bear. Didn't come back. By the time it runs away for a black bear, they're generally going to stay away. Now this last one, and I was in a very, let's say, vulnerable position on the thunderbox. And this is the time I didn't have a whistle on me. Always have your whistle at camp as well. I hear something to the left side and I'm just like, okay, whatever. I thought it was a raccoon, but I'm like, that's a big raccoon. And it gets on its hind legs. I'm like, that's no raccoon. That's a baby cub. That's a black bear cub. I'm like, okay, what do I do? What do I have on me? It's just yelling. And I'm like sitting there, literally caught with my pants down, literally, and I couldn't do anything. So I just banged on the thunderbox. Luckily it was a thunderbox and it echoed enough, and I was screaming at it. I cleaned up. I dropped the toilet seat because this thunderbox was very luxurious. By that time it had already ran away, but because it was a cub, I was most concerned about the mother bear, and I was very kind of like scanning the horizon for this mother bear, expecting another encounter. The cub ran over a little hill, a little knoll, and it just booked off. Didn't matter. Yeah, so those are my 3 scenarios of bear encounters in the more recent years. I've had a few more in the past, but I mean, they all revolved around having a whistle or just making yourself look bigger as a deterrent. So I've never actually had to use this or this, and sure as hell not this. So take that as you will. I've been camping for over 2 decades, and these are my black bear encounters, far and fewer in between than most people would like to think, I would imagine. Anyway, so yeah. Okay, here's a postscript, PS. This one is either molding or leaking something, and I don't want to keep this in here anymore. I think I'm going to fire it off. Yeah? No? Yeah? Alright. Let's get a better angle of this. I'm actually quite nervous because I don't want this to explode on me. Ugh. Here we go. I think that one was the flare. So that's the wildlife deterrent rundown. I would love to hear what you thought of this video, what you have used it for before, if you ran into wildlife and actually had to use any of these. Give a like and subscribe for us, comment below. It helps us out very much, and thank you for watching.